Hello there everyone. Hope this finds you doing well, and please subscribe to the channel so I can continue all the great interviews. And I encourage you to watch the newbie interview just the other day. You might pick something up that might help you. And today is a very special day. I won't tell you what it is, but if a young man watches this, he will know what it is. Anyway, I was going to share a conversation. The other day, the Navy pilot who I interviewed a few days back, he stayed at my house for a day, about 24 hours, and we had a pretty good time. We went out, I was out in the kayak with the missus, and him and his significant other, they were out on paddle boards. They went swimming, we walked, they ran, we walked together, etc., etc. But we also sat around and chit-chatted quite a bit. Okay, we covered, I think, a lot of ground. We talked real estate. I think we talked a little bit about stocks. We talked a little bit about credit cards. We talked a little bit about, being frugal, and just other things. But what was cool from my perspective is it's cool to have a conversation with another person about investing, and that's what I'm trying to do with all of you. Okay, my hope is, over time with my videos, I'm basically just talking to you. I'm talking to a camera. I'm actually talking to my cell phone. But I'm talking to you, just sharing some of these stories that are in my mind, which is right up inside there. Okay, just things I've experienced, things that I've done in the past, things that I'm doing currently, things that I plan to do. And by sharing my experiences, one of you out there may pick up on something that you'd like to do. One of you out there, as Millennial Mike says, may copy and paste something I've done. One of you out there, I don't know, maybe you'll suggest something to me that will help me in my life. Who knows? But that's the beauty of the internet. That's the beauty of YouTube. That's the beauty of social media at times. We can help each other. There's a downside to social media. The dark side, shall we say. Bad things can happen. Mindless hours can be spent wasting time. But at the same time, if you look around, you can find valuable resources. When I started investing in 1990, we did not have the internet. I used to go to the library. I was in the country of Panama. I'd read the Miami Times. I'd look at the stock page on the back. I'd look at the mutual fund page because I was investing in mutual funds. 1999, I found The Motley Fool. I found The Motley Fool because I was reading a book on being frugal, saving money, because money was tight. I mean, it was tight. And I read a book by Susie Orman, and in the back of the book, she had links of interest, and one link was www.fool.com. I saw that and I checked it out, and a fool was born. I sold my mutual funds. I started buying individual stocks. And I found the Motley Fool community. They had message boards. Even in 1999, those message boards looked a little antiquated, but they weren't. So I posted a lot on those boards. I read those boards a lot. As the years went on, I read, I posted. Even today, this morning, I was looking at some of the boards on the Motley Fool, and it was the same thing that was happening in 1999. Newbies on that board are crying the blues about the stock market going down, because that's what the stock market does. And like it was in 1999, a lot of the veterans there are trying to support them, encourage them to stick it out because it goes down. But always, to date, it comes back up. And if you buy quality companies, and you got to monitor them, because sometimes companies fall out of favor. Sears, Kmart, Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster? So sometimes great companies fall out of favor and they just disappear. Okay? Other times, obscure companies, small companies, early 2000s, a little company called Netflix, and Netflix started releasing a red envelope. And throughout the 2000s to 2010s, the stock price just did that. But then it just started going up, 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 up. And someone had bought way back when and just held it. I read something this morning too, that one of the best performing stocks from 1995 to 2015 or something like that. I may have my years wrong. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a CPA, and I'm not an attorney. But it was Monster. the drink, Monster. I've never drank it. But it was a huge number. If you invested $10,000 into it in the beginning, you'd have like $10 million at the end. Okay, over I think it was a 20-year period. $10,000 turned into $10 million. However, the speculation is that almost nobody did that because the stock was extremely volatile. It traded below its high the majority of that time period. It would have a high, go down, drop, have a high, go down. So what did most people do? They sold at the top, or maybe they sold at the bottom. But very few people probably held on that entire time. But if they had held on, they might be sitting on some island, drinking some tropical drink, looking at the sunshine right now, because they'd be rich, wealthy, shall we say. All right, so anyway, conversations. Try to find somebody in your life that you can have a conversation with about investing. It could be hard. If you're like I was when I was a police officer, there was very few police officers, co-workers I could talk to about investing. As I told the young Navy pilot when he was here, I think I told him this, as we all start growing our wealth, shall we say, and it's a small wealth, but say, especially as we get into rental property, as you get your first rental property, it's really cool. You might want to tell your friends. You might want to tell your parents. You might want to tell your siblings, your family. You got your first rental house. And people will be like, wow, great job, great job. But as you get house number 2, house number 3, house number 4, house number 5, I think that a lot of people start kind of keeping it to themselves just a bit. Because it can be awkward. Because now if you're in the workplace and you tell somebody you got 5 rental houses, or maybe you got 10 rental houses, people might start looking at you differently. Because all of a sudden, you're rich. They're struggling with their mortgage perhaps, living paycheck to paycheck, and you have 10 rental houses. People look at you differently. All right, so if you're in the working world and you're building your portfolio, it could be stocks, it could be real estate. I don't know, it's up to you, but you might want to start keeping it to yourself just a bit, okay? But find those folks that you can have a conversation with about investing. They're out there. They're out there. Just like I found the Motley Fool in 1999. 1999, when I found the Fool, over the next decade or so, I met several different fools that were traveling through my area. I remember I was a cop working one day, and where did we meet at? Not Hardee's, Wendy's. It was another fool that was traveling through, and I don't know if we were texting back then, but somehow we coordinated a time, and we met in a fast food restaurant. I was on duty in my police uniform, and we sat and chatted for 15 or 20 minutes, just sitting there and shook hands, and he went on his way, and I went back to work. Okay, and I met another fool that stayed in an Airbnb in the town I was living in. As a Sheriff Tyler, I re-enlisted in the Navy for my final 6 years in the reserves, and I had been communicating with a retired Navy captain on the Motley Fool boards. And he lived in the state of Maryland somewhere. And I was traveling back to Maryland to my high school because it was having like his 50-year, it might have been 75-year anniversary, and they were having an open house. So I went back to that open house because I hadn't been in my high school since I graduated and left. I hadn't been back. I lived out of state. I've been in the Navy. So I went back to the open house. But I coordinated with that retired Navy captain. He met me in the school because he was a fellow fool, like I was, Motley Fool. He met me in the school. We picked out like an empty classroom, and he re-enlisted me for 6 years. I'll have to ask my boys if they remember, because my wife and the boys were there. They watched as Mazske got sworn in for 6 more years of service in the United States Navy Reserves by a retired Navy captain who he met on the Motley Fool message boards. Okay, so conversations. Go to your local real estate meetup group if you have one. Try to search around your local community to find those folks. And if you're struggling, because it's hard sometimes, I know people are busy, you work your job. If you're in the north, anywhere in the northeastern side of the country, you might be dealing with snow or ice or that sort of thing. but try to find somebody you can chat with about investing. Don't find the person who's all hyped up about chasing the latest crypto or doing this like to get rich quick. Don't do that. Not to get rich quick. Just try to find somebody you can chat with. But in the meanwhile, if you're having trouble, I have more interviews planned. Okay, there are more interviews. I will be chatting with someone else in my interviews, and I try to let them do more talking than I do. So try to tune into all the interviews, even the newbie interview from, what was it, yesterday? It has less views than my other interviews, but I encourage you to watch it. The audio wasn't the best, but that's okay. I encourage you to listen to what he's saying because he does not own any real estate, but he wants to get his first. Okay, I shared hopefully some advice to him that he'll listen to. If you listen to it, maybe you'll pick up on something, or maybe you can help Christopher in his path, on his pursuit of getting his first rental house, something. But I encourage you. There's more interviews coming. There's more subscribers that I will be interviewing. There's other YouTubers that I will be interviewing. It might be sporadic at times, but I believe as this channel grows, I think the opportunity for me to communicate and to talk with more folks will come about. So I encourage you to share your favorite interview. There's a good one with Bill. Every interview is good, but Bill has the most views at the moment. Young Robbie, who bought my triplex, has maybe the least views, except for the newbie. But watch Robbie's video. Watch all the videos. Millennial Mike, Helicopter Pilot, Jerry the Banker, my Tom Gray. Watch his talk. All of the Tylers, watch them all. Watch them all. Because I think if you're like me, some people think I'm like the veteran investor. I've been investing for 30 some years. But I'm learning from every single interview I host, every single chat that I have. Okay? So anyway, keep loving life. I'm finishing up my daily cup of green tea here. It's I think I'm gonna go to the pool store in a bit, do my weekly water test. So hang in there with everything, keep plugging away. Life's a journey, investing's a journey, but the light is at the end of the tunnel. Just keep marching on, one step at a time. All right, Mazske is signing out.